Hi, thank you for watching Chittarupa Yoga and Fitness. You can now find me on patreon.com as well. My name is Laura Wilson, 200 hour certified yoga instructor. And today we're just going to do a full body yoga class with no equipment. If you happen to have some blocks, you can use those, but no equipment necessary otherwise. So let's go ahead and meet on our mat. We're going to begin standing. Now let's just take our feet hip distance apart and just take a moment, starting with our feet, to rock forward and back. And then we're going to roll our feet in and out. So just getting in touch with all parts of our feet here. And then we're going to ground through our feet, feeling the inner and outer edges, the toes and heels. And let's get our weight even on both feet. And from there, we want to stack our joints, drawing our shoulders back and down. And let's go ahead and begin with a few deep breaths, closing our eyes. Just filling up our body with oxygen, checking in with how we're feeling. And remembering in yoga, we want to listen to our body. We don't want to push through anything. Yoga is about healing. So let's listen to what our body has to say today. Let it be our guide. Now let's just begin by noticing our breath in our body. And then we'll begin to take some 3-part breaths. Inhaling, filling up our belly, opening the ribs, lifting the heart. And then exhale, lowering our heart, drawing in the ribs and the belly. So just several deep breaths like that. Inhaling belly, ribs and heart. Exhaling heart, ribs and belly. And let's move up to our head. We're going to inhale, letting our chin float up. Exhaling, chin to chest. Letting the movement follow our breath. Allowing our chin to come to chest, and then slowly letting it roll from side to side. Now let's come back to our chest, lifting up. And we are going to start with some standing cat and cow. So bringing hands just above our knees. Let's begin to inhale, lengthen our tailbone, lift our chin. Exhale, tucking everything in. Flowing with our own breath as we inhale to open. Exhale, tuck it in. On our next inhale, let's roll up, and we'll step up to the top edge of our mat. Let's find our mountain pose with hands at our hearts. Flowing with our breath, let's inhale, sliding one foot back, open up, exhale, back up to mountain. Inhale, other foot back, exhale, up to mountain. So just following our own breath here. And after we've done both sides evenly, let's come back to our mountain. Stepping out to the edges of our mat, let's circle our hips. Taking it the other way. And we'll come back up tall on our mountain, inhaling up. Let's exhale, one hand down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. So a nice big side stretch here, reaching for the ceiling with that one hand. Now let's bring it up, feet together. We're going to slide back into our chair pose. Flowing from here, inhaling up, exhaling back. So shifting our hips back first, keeping our feet hip distance, if that's better for our balance. And we're going to actually add a little twist here. Inhale up, exhale, sit the hips back, tap one hip. Inhale up, exhale, sit back, tap the other hip. So just a nice easy twist. We're just warming up here. Now let's step to the back edge of our mat. We're going to inhale up, exhale, forward fold. Now let's walk ourselves out to our plank pose. And lower down to our knees, pressing back to child's pose. So we're going to warm up our upper body next. Take a few moments here, a few deep breaths. From our child's pose though, we want to make sure that our hands are overhead, separated out, shoulder distant. And we're going to inhale up, shoulders over fingers, exhale, lower a little, inhale to push, and exhale back to child's pose. So inhaling forward, exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling back. So we can make this our own here by doing several push-ups before pressing back. We can also begin to take this back to downward facing dog. So just do one push-up if you prefer, staying at the child's pose level. Making our way back to that child's pose or the downward facing dog. Let's walk our hands and feet together into our standing forward fold. And we're going to hinge ourselves up from here, exhaling, hands to heart. So let's just take a moment here to check in with how we're feeling. Should be breathing a little heavier, warmed up a little bit, ready for some more work. So let's turn sideways on our mat so we can step out really wide. Ending with our toes turned in just a little bit, let's reach back, clasp our hands, and really draw the shoulder blades together. So if our hands don't quite reach together, we can use a strap, a towel, or even hold a block between them. The key is that we're rolling our shoulder blades together. We really want them to touch. And then we're going to shoot our hips back and come halfway forward. Checking in that our shoulder blades still touch. If they are, then we can go further forward. If they have come apart, we want to come back up. And let's inhale, coming back up. Or release the arms and come into that forward fold again. Hands to the floor. Or on a block if our hands don't make it to the floor. Making sure that we're forward far enough that our neck is relaxed. Give it a little shake. And let's hinge ourselves back up. We're going to take our arms out over our legs. And let's just lift the toes of one foot, finding warrior two. So the lunged side, we're gazing down that hand. Lengthening along our spine, it should be nice and tall. Now let's flip our palm, reaching forward, and then up, reverse warrior. So we can take our gaze up to the ceiling, out straight, or even down to the floor, whatever feels best for us. Thinking about drawing our legs in toward each other and feel that energy lifting us up, keeping us balanced. And let's come back to warrior two for a moment. This time we're going to extend out over that bent knee. Pay attention to our shoulders as we rotate into our side angle. See if we can get them stacked over each other. And then we can either let this elbow rest here, this hand here, or we can release the hand to the floor, other hand to the ceiling, or any variation that you're feeling. But really think about the stacking of the shoulders. particularly if this arm is reached up. We're not reaching it way back. We want it where we can see it out of the side of our eye. And again, our gaze can be up at the hand, straight ahead, or at the floor, whatever works best. Let's inhale and find our way back to reverse warrior. Remember the energy drawing in and up. Let's bring it back to warrior two, straightening both legs. So this time we're going to shift our hips to the back, whatever is back for us right now, and we're going to reach forward, arms parallel to the floor. And here again, let's find that stacking of our shoulders. This arm can actually hang down. This one can be up or at the hip or even on our back. We can also take this one to a block or our leg if we need more support. But if we want to work on core strength here, we can do this without holding on to anything. Making sure that we can breathe. If it's tough to breathe, we can always come back up a little bit. And we're going to make our way back to the reverse warrior. Lunge and reach. Now let's come into that side angle again, this time hand on the thigh or arm. And we're going to take the other hand around to the thigh and then reach this hand around behind us, revolving our pose. Let's unwind from here, side angle, and warrior two. Bringing our toes forward. Let's give ourselves a big hug. So whichever leg we were on that time, let's take that arm on top. That way we'll remember which one the next time. From here, we can either find eagle arms and come forward and just let our arms hang, or we can come forward in the hug, reaching our hands out to the opposite leg, letting our head rest right where our arms cross. No tension on the neck. Wherever we are, let's come back to our hug. Come back up. Taking our arms wide, let's lift the other toes. Warrior two on the other side. So same thing, feel that energy lifting in and up, squeeze the legs in toward each other, gazing down the hand that's over our lunged knee. Now let's flip that palm, reaching forward, and then up, reverse warrior. Taking our gaze wherever it works for us. Now let's come back to our warrior two. We're going to extend a little bit over the leg, bringing our forearm to our thigh. Remember, stacking our shoulders where we can reach this arm up or keep it at our hip. This hand can stay here or come to the floor. Set any combination with the arms. Thinking about that stack and opening up along the top shoulder. With an inhale, let's reverse warrior again. And returning to warrior two. Let's straighten out both legs. So we'll shift our hips back the other way and reach as far forward as we can with our arms parallel. Shift and reach. And wherever we are, let's stack our shoulders. Let the hand rest or float. Reaching up to the hip or behind. Try not to lock out the knee. Making sure that we can breathe. Any pose that we're in, we want to make sure we can breathe. If it's challenging, then we need to back off. Same thing if we start to feel pain in a part of our body, we want to back off. breathing. And let's come back up, warrior two. So we're going to take it forward again into our side angle, but this time we're going to take our opposite hand to the thigh, reaching around as far as we can with the other hand, revolving our pose. Unwinding from here, let's find our reverse warrior. Warrior two, and turn the toes forward. So now that hand is going to come on top, either to hug or eagle arms, where we'll come forward and float, or we'll come forward and reach out for the opposite leg. Letting our head hang. And coming back to our hug, let's bring ourselves up, walk our feet halfway in, and circle our hips. Let's make sure to go both ways. And we're going to come into some balance now. So get near a wall if you need to. It's always nice to be safe. Shifting our weight over, we're actually going to lift one knee up in front, draw it across, and into our figure four. So this is our standing balanced pigeon. We can either stay right here, or we can begin to shift our hips back into a squat. And again, holding on to something if we need to, hands wherever we need them for our balance. With balance poses, it helps to find something that's not moving to really focus on. Drawing in our navel and gauging our core. So we're going to see if we can come back out of this. Lift the knee up in balance. And then come back down. Let's shift over to the other side. So again, we're going to lift the knee up, cross it over, and place it where we can stay right here the whole time. Or we can shift the hips back a lot or a little, focusing on that thing that's not moving. So, interesting to notice how one side compares to the other. Most of the time we're better balanced on one side than the other, but I notice some days it makes a difference. Sometimes I balance better on that other side. All right, let's see if we can come back up, lift the knee. It was not a good day for my left. All right, shake it out. So let's step out a little wide on our mat. We're going to come through our garland pose, which is just a deep squat to get to the floor today. If you have a better way that works for you, go ahead and take it to the floor. Otherwise, we're going to see about just coming down into our squat. So we can have hands at our thighs, hands at our heart, hands on the floor when we get that low. Ultimately though, we want to see if we can get elbows between the knees. Some of us will get lower than others. So just kind of find where you are, and let's just hang out right there for a moment. And again, we can use our hands on the floor if we need to just roll ourselves back and come into a comfortable seat. Let's start comfortable. Easy seat. So grounding through our sit bones. Let's lengthen through the crown of our head. Now let's just check in with our neck a moment, pushing one hand into the floor, dropping our opposite ear. Let's find our three-part breath. Coming back to the center, lengthening up tall. Let's push the other hand into the floor, dropping our ear. We want to create as much space between the ear and shoulder as we can. And let's release from there. So we're just going to do a basic, easy little twist here, starting from our waist. So just turning that as far as it'll go. Moving up to the ribs and shoulders. We can take a hand to the opposite leg. Our other hand is going to come right down near our bottom. And once that's as far as we'll get, then we just finish off with the neck. So turning our chin out over the shoulder. Let's think about lengthening and lifting on each inhale, finding a twist with the exhale. So our hand is in near our bottom to keep our spine tall. Keep reaching the crown of the head for the ceiling. When we're ready to release, we start at the top with the chin, then the shoulders, then the waist. So let's kind of shake that out. Switch the front leg, and we'll start nice and tall again from the waist, then the shoulders, place the hands, finish off with the chin. Again, lengthening up really tall. We want our spine long. All our muscles and tissues are revolving around our core here. Unwinding in reversed, chin, shoulders, hips. Excellent. If it's comfortable, let's take the soles of our feet together. Otherwise, stay in that easy seat. And we are going to come forward any amount. Everyone will be different. Finding a place that we can breathe easy. Should be able to find our 3-part breath right here. And let's lift up. We'll stay like this again if it's comfortable. Let's do a side bend. So reaching for the ceiling first, leveraging down through the other elbow. Now, depending on how we feel, how open we are, we might begin to take that further over to the side. But again, let's listen to our own body about how far we can go. This is a good spot if you happen to have a block. You can rest an arm on the block. We're feeling our breath more on that one open side. When we're in a side bend like this, we will feel the inhale on that open side and the exhale on that closing side. So using our breath to really open that side of the body. Let's come back to the center, lengthen tall, and begin to move to the other side. So again, reaching for the ceiling first, then lowering down any amount. Only if we're feeling it, take it further over. And each side will probably be different. Remembering we can use blocks if we need to, or just plain want to. And let's come back to the center. All right, we're going to bring our legs together. And we're going to roll on down to the mat. So once we're here, let's just take a moment to shake everything out or let it rock. Allowing our head to roll back on the floor. And let's bring our feet to the floor, hands by our side. So we're going to walk our feet back and out until we can touch our fingertips and our heels, allowing our knees to roll together. So if we do have a block handy, we can actually squeeze one between our knees. That will help us get that in up action in the hips, if we choose to use it that way. Let's press into the floor, lifting up. Another place we can use a block is underneath our hips, right underneath the pelvic bone though, not up under the lower back. Here, we should be able to find our 3-part breath, belly, ribs, and heart. And let's lower down from here, hugging in our knees And we're going to take our feet to the ceiling. So let's just flex and point for a moment here. We can add some wrists, rotating. So let's start with our dead bug pose. We're going to begin here, flexing our feet so they're standing on the ceiling. We're going to find ourselves in a chair that has fallen over backwards. So drawing the knees open. Maybe at this point we can reach up and hold on to our calves, continue to draw the knees down. And some of us may be able to reach our feet or even our big toes and draw the knees down. So this is a hip opener. Should be able to breathe. And let's take our feet back up to the ceiling. We're going to cross one leg over the other. We're going to do that balanced pigeon again on our backs. This time we're going to reach up and hold on to our thighs, hugging our legs in. So keeping our head at neutral, keeping this knee in closer than the foot. And while we're here, let's go ahead and work our face a little bit. Closing our mouth, we're going to fill our cheeks up with air and push the air from side to side or back and forth from cheek to cheek. And then we'll open and close our mouth a few times. Let's take our feet back up to the ceiling, holding on to our outer thighs, opening up here. And let's bring our feet back together, crossing the other leg over this time. Let's hug in. And this time, let's blink our eyes a few times. And then we're going to take our gaze up to our sixth chakra or third eye. Now let's take our gaze down our nose. Blinking our eyes. Let's hug the knees in. Let's take a look all the way over to the right. And then move our eyes all the way over to the left. Let's come back to the center and blink. Releasing our feet, and again, let's open up one more time, adding movement here if we choose. And let's bring our legs back in. So we're going to let our knees roll open, soles of the feet together, and just let our lower body rest. Then we're going to clasp our hands together. Let's extend our shoulders up to the ceiling. And just noticing how this feels, we're going to take our arms overhead. So some of us may be able to touch the floor overhead. We might not all make it. That is fine. Let's bring our hands back up to the ceiling. Depending on how our wrists are feeling, let's flip our palms this time. And again, extending the shoulders up, reaching overhead, any amount. Each one of us is going to be different. And let's bring that back up, release from here. And we're going to find our bridge again. So walking our feet back till we touch our fingertips and toes or heels. Lifting up, using a block if we choose. This time we might even roll our shoulders under, turning our palms up. Releasing down from here. Let's hug both knees in. And then we're going to squeeze our knees together. Let's open our arms out wide. And we're going to lower our knees over to one side. So here's another place we can use some blocks. We can actually take it between the thighs if that feels better, or underneath that lower one. So whatever works to make us more comfortable here. Again, it should be breathable. And let's draw it back into the center. Taking our legs out long, we're going to reach overhead, stretch everything out, straighten our spine. And then hug everything in again. This time we're going to squeeze the knees together, rolling over to the other side. It's the same options with the blocks. Whatever feels right. Noticing our breath. It always feels interesting in a twist. And let's come back to the center one more time. Lengthen everything out long, reaching away, and release. So we're going to move into the final relaxation, or Shavasana. So remember, we can always leave our knees up for this, or extend our legs out long. Wherever we are, let's make sure we're comfortable. If you're at home and you have blankets, pillows, and things like that you want to use here, you can do that. There are also different ways that we can use our blocks. But let's just find a place where we can release and let go. Allowing our head to roll back. Completely releasing through our legs. Releasing our arms. Staying soft in our belly. Staying soft in our face. And just adding some stillness to our practice. Remembering that we can pause the video, stay here as long as we like. When we are ready to come out, let's start with fingers and toes. Moving up our arms and legs. Maybe rolling our head. And just listening to our body about what kind of movement it needs. Taking our time, especially if we're in Shavasana for a while, we want to take a little bit longer to come out. But just checking in with our body as we go, hugging our knees, rolling over to one side. And again, just checking in with ourselves as we go. Taking our top hand to the floor to help press us up, and then we'll come around and have a seat for a moment, whatever's comfortable. Checking in, seeing how we're feeling compared to when we started this practice today. Let's bring our focus back to our breath. Let's take an inhale together. Exhaling, hands to our heart. I want to thank you for joining me today. Remember to leave me some comments below. Let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you watch regularly. Thanks.